Alright, what's going on, guys? So today we're making this. So this is a Rifle Sling. This is obviously the template you can see that has the hole in it. Where I got the template from, this is from DGsaddlery.com. This is basically a big piece of paper, and you've got all your templates on here for doing your tooling, and then plus you've got your two templates for each sling. One without the thumbprint the thumb hole, and then one with the thumb hole. So obviously here, this is the one with the thumb hole, and then you could just imagine, without it. Yeah, so this is actually the feather template here. Looks pretty cool with the hole in there. Yeah, everything came out real nice. So all the information is right here. You can go check out his website at DGsaddlery.com. I think he's got some courses right now going. But yeah, go check that out. And then let's go ahead and let's get started on making this guy. All right, see you in a sec. All right, guys, so real quick, to get the leather for the Rifle Sling, I went over to Montana Leather Company. I purchased a 3-inch because a 2.5-inch just isn't wide enough for the sling. So it was 29 bucks. It's 55 inches long. It is also made out of Herman oak leather. It is 8 to 9 ounce. Let's go ahead and head over to the bench and let's get started. A 3-inch strap right here, and this thing is long, dude. Probably close to 5 feet, if not more. And then this other one's just the exact same length. So what happened was I actually ordered a 2.5-inch, thinking that was gonna make it. Yeah, so we're at 2 5/8 on the thickest part of this guy. All right, so now I'm just going to cut these guys out. All right, guys, so what I got here is I've got my template laid out on my 3-inch piece of leather. You can see this piece in front of it is the smaller 2.5-inch. I'm sure you could, make it work. Just make your little sling just a little bit smaller. But now I'm putting on a little anvil. I got this from Tandy a while back, and I'm just grabbing some other stuff on the table here just to make it lay flat. I think I got picking up an oblong chisel here, and then you just want to go around this with a pencil or an awl would work just as fine, and then we'll cut it out. Alright, next up, we're breaking out this big piece of paper again. Going to be using the feather tooling template. So next up, just going to get this thing flattened out so that I can grab some tracing paper here. I'm going to put this over this guy. Just get, you know, a piece big enough that I'll cover your artwork. And then once I got this guy cut out, what I'm going to do is grab some painter's tape and just put that over the piece of paper. That way the tracing paper won't move while it's sitting on top of your artwork that you're tracing. So let me go ahead and case this and I'll be right back. All right, so now our leather is cased. That's a good idea to have this piece of work that you're going to do. Have it out. You kind of have something to go back onto and look. All right, so now I'm just using it's a 0.5. So it is a little bit smaller, but it'd be good for making a nice, good detailed mark. On to the next step. Can you guess what it is? Ah, yes, you're right. It's the swivel knife. So object here, just, you know, you're gonna cut all the lines. Now, this can be a little difficult if you've had a few beers, so I advise to not drink and use a swivel knife. But I am using the Tandy edition. It's their special edition that does not hold an edge, so you have to strop it a lot. But take your time, do a lot of stropping, you will get a really nice design. All right, next up is some tooling. Just moving my self-healing mat out of the way. So right here, I actually have two Craft Tool Pro bevelers. One is a B2043 and one is a B2045. Now these are pretty good. These are a little bit steeper than your regular Tandy tool, beveling tool, and these both are checkered. I do plan on getting some of the Berry Kings, But for right now, these work just great, and whatever you have, I'm sure works just fine as well. So basically got everything tooled. Now the next thing will be to do all my backgrounding, and then we'll do our background staining and then our antiquing on top of that. All right, next up, we're doing our backgrounding. So I'm using some Tandy backgrounders. The first one is the 101 and the second one is the 103. Now both of these versions were the US versions. I believe you can only get one of these now on Tandy's website, and that's the A101, but I'm pretty sure you can go on Etsy or eBay and find some comparable matches for these. Also, a good idea while you're doing your backgrounding is to have the original picture with you, so that way you can kind of see what is supposed to lay over what, and then it kind of gives you a better idea of what to backgrounding and makes you a little bit quicker. And then also just take your time and you'll get a great product. And here is the finished product here. Came out great. All right, let's get on to staining. All right, now for the fun part, doing the background staining on the artwork. So it's using some black Pro Dye from Phoebing's. Just got a really tiny paintbrush and just taking my time. It does take a little bit of time to do this, but if you take your time, you get a really nice product at the end, and it looks great. Backgrounding stain is done. Came out pretty good. So next step, we're gonna do exterior stain, do a brown, and then do the antique on top of that. All right, let's get her done. All right, so here real quick, just doing a little bit of sanding, just finishing off, just cleaning it up just a touch. And before I start staining here, so just using a small paintbrush, just being precise around my artwork. I will use a dauber for the rest of the body. Just using a dark brown Pro Dye. Now I also did go around everything twice, and then I always try to keep a wet edge so that way the color looks more uniform, but you know, do as good as you can. It'll all come out looking good anyways. All right, staining's done. Next up, antique. Using Phoebing's antique dye. I like using the food ads that come in the mail. They are free. They work great. Now I'm just gonna grab a paper towel and, you know, just a nice thick amount. You know, like it's like wiping a big fat turd, you know, after a day of drinking or something like that. And then you just wipe down the whole thing. I would let it sit there for about a minute or two, and then I have to come back and start cleaning. Yep. And then I'll clean some more. Then I'll clean the bottom of it, and then I'll take this paper away. Here we go. All right. I'll do a little more cleaning, and then I'll let it sit here for about an hour or two. I wanted to get this done. Yeah, so let it sit for about, I'll let it sit for probably about 2 hours. Then I'll come back and I'm gonna give it some tan coat. That's the next step. So, you know, good liberal amount on the paper towel there, and just run it over everything again. Again, what it does is it cleans up any excess that was on the leather itself. And then I'll just go over it one more time after the first coat's dry. And then we are ready for the next step, which is going to be putting on the backer. So I will see you here in a sec. All right, so I'm taking my liner and my sling. I glued both sides. Now I'm just pressing those together. And then I'll take my X-Acto knife here and just trim around the edge of the sling and just cut this guy out. Just being, you know, kind of try and be precise. You don't want to cut up your finished product, so just take your time and it'll come out looking good. All right, next up, we're sewing on the Cobra Class 4. Attaching the backer to the sling itself. Now I'm using a size 138 thread. It's kind of my go-to size. I could use a guide on this, but I decided just to take my time and just follow my edge that I made, a line that I made for myself. All right, now that's done. I recently picked up this Weaver #1. It's an edge beveler. You can tell the end of it how it's bent, and it's actually really good for really tight corners, especially doing the thumb hole. Let you get in there nice and deep like. Right now I'm just going to clean up this edge after doing the edge beveler, and then I'll break out my brown stain again, do the edge there, and then now just applying some Tokonol and get that edge nice and slicked. A piece of wood my dad actually made for me. So it's got about a 1/4 inch groove in it, a little bit bigger, so that way it allows me to throw whatever I'm working into that piece, and I can do the edge real easily instead of trying to hold it. It's a pain in the butt, but this makes it really nice. And then just getting that get nice and deep like in that hole there. All right, now these are the holes I marked out from the pattern. All right, and that's it, guys. So just end up using some bronze Chicago screws to hold the ends together, and that's it. Came out pretty good. So you can use it as, you know, sling, as a bat, or whatever you like. But here's a picture of the studio coming along. But thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. You guys have a great day.